Hey guys, it's Mr. DuMouchel's here with Everest DuMouchel, my art partner in crime. I hope you guys are being safe. I hope everybody's doing well at home, dealing with the coronavirus and this unusual homeschooling situation that we're in. But we're going to make the best of it. And so our first art project is going to be a found object sculpture, one of my favorite kinds of sculpture to make. Because all you got to do is just find stuff, and you can make anything you want. So the first thing you're going to do with the found object sculpture is you got to go find some objects. So Everest and I are going to take a walk up to the levee, and we're going to go find some objects to make a sculpture with. Maybe we'll stop in here at the garage on the way back. All right, see you in a minute. Hey guys, okay, so here we are. We're walking the levee. You can see up there the levee's just up ahead a couple blocks. So when looking for found objects, you just got to take a walk. You just got to be open-minded. Keep coming, Sebastian. Keep coming along with us.
I'm coming.
Come along with us, everybody. You got to have your bag. Have a bag or a box or something like that. This is my handy-dandy orange bag that I use for everything. And we got to just start looking around. So you never know what you're going to find. There might be some construction areas around your area. You might have an attic. You might have a garage. We'll get to that later. But I like to walk around and just find stuff in my neighborhood around on the street, because that usually you can find really cool little things here and there. So we're gonna keep looking. Sometimes you just take a nice walk and you don't really find much, but you enjoy taking the walk. So we're gonna keep looking, and we will check in a minute. All right guys, so here we go. So here's our first object, right? We made it about a block from the house. I have no idea what this is, but it's round. Cool. It's got some holes in it, and it's kind of interesting. Cool. So I'm gonna put it in my bag. Everest likes it. We'll put it in Everest's bag. Yeah. Okay. And so sometimes you just share your stuff. All right, let's keep going. Okay. All right. So we got something else. So look, here's I think this is an DuMouchel's can or something like that. But a lot of times these cans that you find on the street, they're awesome because they've been totally flattened out by cars and whatever, and sometimes they've been kind of bleached out, so you can see how kind of flat, perfectly flat and shiny this one is. Excellent for found object sculpture. All right, let's keep. Okay, so here we are at the levee, and we're just gonna walk a little bit. There's always, sometimes, not always, but sometimes unusual things that wash up here or that you can find up here on the levee. Interesting rocks or even little bits of plastic or metal or so forth. So we're gonna kind of walk a little bit and see what we find. All right, let's go. Okay, so here we are, we're on the levee. I don't suggest anybody go wading out in the water to pick up, random trash or whatever, but Everett's kind of like this yellow foam cylinder thing, part of some kind of buoy deal or whatever, so he's gonna take that. And a lot of times driftwood, in plant life, that you find can be really cool. Like driftwood is always really sort of interesting looking. And then there's this kind of unusual plant. I'm not really sure what that is. It's probably not that unusual.
That's radish.
But
radish.
I don't think it's a radish. So anyway, you can even use natural things like sticks and plant life and various other things in nature for still life or for found object sculpture. All right. So we're gonna start heading back to the house and check out the garage. All right. See you in a minute. Okay guys, so here we are, we're back at our house, got a few things up there. It wasn't a bonanza of findings, but we're gonna head inside and go to the garage and see what we find there. All right, let's go.
Fine.
Okay guys, so here we are, we're back at the garage. We're gonna just kind of dig around, right? If you have a garage or an attic or a closet or a junk drawer, whatever, you just kind of dig around and look for stuff. So, in my garage, I've got some wood pieces here. Let's see, over here, here's a little piece of chicken wire, that could be good. I've got sort of a bunch of these railroad ties. That could be good. I think the important thing to remember is to try to collect a variety of things and collect more things than you think you will use. So now, like any other garage, I've got other things in here that I won't use in a sculpture. So I'm trying to kind of just sort of look for stuff that really is essentially junk or things that I don't intend to use anymore or have any need for. So just kind of finding some random stuff, and then we're gonna go from there. All right. Oh, one other thing. All right. Okay. So one thing you need to keep in mind when you're making a found object sculpture, you find your objects, and in a minute we're gonna go set everything up and sit down to start making the sculpture. But you need to think about like what you're gonna bind your objects together with. Okay. So maybe you have some wire, maybe you have some string, you might have some twist ties, you might have a hot glue gun and some hot glue. That can be useful. Sometimes that's not the best option. So think about how you're gonna bind your objects together, whether it's with string or even plastic. You could tear up pieces of plastic. You could take an old t-shirt and make little strips and then use that to kind of combine objects, etc. Okay? So I'm just going to grab a few things like that, and then we're going to go get set up, and I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, hello everyone. So we're getting ready to start the building phase of our found object sculpture. We've laid out a bunch of the stuff that we found. Some of it from the garage, little things like this thing was something that we got at the green market a long time ago. This is part of an old soccer goal that we don't need anymore. This thing is awesome. This Lincoln hubcap thing that I found while I was running. So I ran half a mile or a mile or so back to the house with that in my hand. And some stuff that we found up on the levee, etc. And a few items that could be used for putting materials together. So I've got some wire, got some tie straps, some pliers, and a hot glue gun. If you don't have, and this t-shirt is also for potentially cutting up and using as binding material. That's also why I picked this up. This chicken wire could potentially be used for that. Here's an old shoelace. So, thinking about what you're going to put things together with is important. And also, how are you going to do it? Are you going to do a freestanding sculpture where you have things sort of attached together and they're standing freely, like a three-dimensional sculpture, or are you going to use something as a surface and attach things to the surface? So I've got some wood for that and potentially some cardboard. We could do it both different ways. So I'm probably going to do it one way, and Everest will probably do it another way, and we will see you in a little bit. All right, bye. Okay, hey guys, how's it going? So here we are. We're going to sit down. We're going to take a look at. We're going to start building our stuff, building our found object sculpture. So I'm going to use this find as my centerpiece, and that's what I would do. I would kind of think of one thing that you can think of as sort of the centerpiece of your sculpture. You can have more than one, and have more than one object, sort of all working together. That's part of the idea of found object sculpture. But at the same time, you can also have something that you're focusing on. Maybe it's something because it's textural, or maybe it's just the particular shape or form of the object really is sort of unusual and stands out. And then, so when you start working, just kind of take something and just start working off of it intuitively. Think about, what is standing out about that thing? Is it the textures? Is it the paint or the shininess of it or dullness of it? Is it the organic form and the different sort of like cracks and crevices and things that it has going for it? Is it the color? So you think about these different things and what you want to kind of emphasize. You can think about the elements and principles as well. I would do that like while you're working. Are you focusing on texture? Are you focusing on variety? Are you focusing on shape or form? Can I see this? So Everest has already started his found object sculpture. And here it is. He wanted to use that foam thing that we found up there at the levee. And he's using that. And then also the plant that we found up there. So that is sort of the beginning of his sculpture in this seatbelt thing from our backyard of a car seat that we're not keeping.
I'm trying to make
so
it
now,
stand up.
one thing you might notice is that it won't stand up. So that's what Everest is kind of working on now, is how to make it stand up, because that's what he wants to do. All right, so we're going to keep working, and we'll see you in a little bit. Okay, everyone, so here's our finished sculptures, our finished found object sculptures. This one's mine, and that one's also mine, and I call them two sides of the same coin. And this one is Everest's, and I'll let Everest talk about his in just a minute. But it took us probably about 2 hours total, and that includes like going to get all the materials and find everything and figure out what we wanted to do. Note that we made made something to cover the table with. So if you're doing it at the dining room table like we are, right? We don't want moms to get upset or dads to get upset, so we cover our table with something, newspaper, or we didn't have newspaper, so we just used construction paper. All right. So enjoy. I hope you enjoy making your sculptures, and we'll touch base soon. Thanks. Bye.
Hi, my name is Everest, and this is my found project. And my theme was plants. So I call this one the orange leaf because it has an orange stem and green leaves. And I call this one the calculope because it's a rope and calculator. And I'm trying to figure out the name for these three. And then also I call this one the seatbelt flytrap because it kind of looks like a Venus flytrap. And I said seatbelt flytrap because it has a seatbelt thing. And it grows radishes at the top.
Great. Thanks, Everest. Do you have fun?
Yep.
All right.